Okay, let's just jump right in. You've got twins, right? Born maybe minutes apart, look almost identical, but personality-wise, night and day. One's the life of the party, the other's like hiding in a corner with a physics textbook.
Happens all the time, and it really makes people question astrology, doesn't it? They think same sign should be the same person.
Exactly, because most people just know their sun sign. You know, the one of the newspaper horoscope. Aries, Taurus, whatever.
But that's just scratching the surface. A full astrological birth chart, it's incredibly detailed. Think of it less like a single sign and more like a unique cosmic recipe cooked up the exact moment you were born.
A recipe, I like that. So the sun sign is just one ingredient.
Precisely. It might be the main flavor, maybe, but you've got the moon sign, the ascendant, all the planets in specific signs and houses, angles between them. It's complex, and our mission today is really to unpack why twins, even with the same birthday, have these distinct astrological charts and, well, distinct personalities.
And we'll touch on the science side too, right? The whole nature versus nurture thing.
Absolutely. Got to look at all the angles. But first, let's dive into that astrological complexity beyond just the sun sign.
Okay, lay it on us. What else is in this cosmic recipe?
Well, first up, there's the moon sign. This isn't about your ego like the sun. It's your emotional core, your instincts, your reactions, how you kind of feel your way through life.
Ah, the inner world stuff.
Exactly. And here's the kicker for twins. The moon changes signs every 2 to 3 days.
Wait, days, not weeks or months.
Nope, days. So if one twin is born late on a Tuesday when the moon is in, say, sensitive Cancer, and the other arrives just after midnight early Wednesday, the moon might have already moved into expressive Leo.
Whoa. So right there, you could have totally different emotional styles, even born on the same date.
Potentially. Yes, it's a major differentiator. But honestly, the even bigger player, especially for twins born closer together, is the ascendant, or the rising sign.
Okay, I've heard of the rising sign. That's your mask, right? How people first see you.
Sort of. It's more than just a mask. It's the Zodiac sign that was literally rising on the eastern horizon at the precise moment and location of your birth. It shapes your outward personality, your immediate reactions, even physical appearance sometimes. And this thing changes fast.
How fast are we talking?
It shifts signs roughly every 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay, so that explains twins born a few hours apart easily, different rising signs, different vibes.
Definitely. But it gets even finer grained than that. The ascendant isn't just a sign, it's measured in degrees, 30 degrees per sign. And it moves about 1 degree every 4 minutes.
4 minutes, seriously.
Seriously. So twins born, say, 5 minutes apart, they could easily have the same rising sign, but at different degrees. Maybe one is 10 degrees Aries rising, the other is 11 degrees Aries rising. Astrologers see that subtle shift as coloring the sign's expression differently.
Huh. Like turning a dimmer switch up or down slightly on the same light?
Good analogy. Or if they're born near the cusp, that few minutes could push one twin into a completely different rising sign altogether. One lands at 29 degrees Leo, the next, 5 minutes later, pops out at 0 degrees Virgo. Boom. Different outward personality.
That's wild. Okay, so ascendant is huge. What else? You mentioned planets and houses.
Right, so all the planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they're all in a specific sign and a specific house at birth. Think of the chart like a wheel divided into 12 slices. Those are the houses. Each house represents a different area of like career, home, relationships, money, etc.
Okay.
Now the ascendant, that rising sign, marks the beginning of the first house. So if the ascendant changes degree, or especially if it changes sign, it shifts the starting point for all 12 houses.
I see. So even if twins have, say, Mars in Aries in their charts.
Exactly. For one twin, that fiery Aries Mars might land in their 10th house, the house of career and public image.
Right.
Makes them super ambitious, driven professionally. But for the other twin, born just minutes later with a slightly shifted ascendant, that same Aries Mars might fall into their 7th house relationships. So their energy goes into partnerships, maybe they're passionate, but also potentially argumentative with partners. Same planet, same sign, totally different life area focus.
Man, this is way more intricate than just, I'm a Leo.
Isn't it? And we haven't even talked aspects yet. Those are the geometric angles between the planets. Think of them as conversations. Some are harmonious chats, others are tense arguments.
Okay.
Because planets are always moving at different speeds, even a tiny birth time difference changes the precision of these angles. A really exact angle, we call it partal, is considered stronger than a looser one, a platic aspect. So twins might have slightly different strengths in those planetary connections.
Partal, platic. Got it. So subtle timing differences tweak the whole internal dynamic. What about other key points in the chart?
Definitely the midheaven, or MC, and its opposite, the Imam Coeli, or IC. The MC is the highest point, linked to career, reputation, life direction. The IC is the lowest point, representing home, roots, private life.
And these are time sensitive too.
Highly. Like the Ascendant, they move quickly. The MC can shift signs in maybe, 15 to 20 minutes sometimes. So one twin's life path indicator could point towards, say, creative Pisces, while the others point towards ambitious Aries, just based on a short time gap.
Wow. Okay, this birth time thing isn't just a minor detail. It's like everything.
It's fundamental. That spin of the Earth, 1 degree every 4 minutes, creates constant astrological change. It's why astrologers always ask for the exact birth time.
So let's recap the impact of timing. A few minutes can mean
Different degrees of the same rising sign, subtly altering its flavor, or different actual rising signs, leading to very distinct outer shells. It also shifts all the house cusps, those dividing lines between life areas.
right, which changes where the planets actually do their work.
Precisely. We use the Mars example, but imagine Venus, planet of love. For twin A, maybe it's in the 5th house of romance and fun. For twin B, born 10 minutes later, maybe that cusp shifted, and Venus is now in the 6th house of daily work and service. Very different approaches to love and values.
One's looking for a party date, the other wants someone to file papers with.
Kind of. And remember, the chart ruler, the planet that rules the rising sign, if the rising sign changes, the whole chart rulership changes, giving a different overall planetary flavor to the entire life.
It's layer upon layer of difference building up from just minutes.
Exactly. And we talked about aspects getting tighter or looser, partal versus platic. Plus, there's degree symbolism. Some traditions assign specific meanings to each of the 360 degrees. So planets landing on different degrees, even within the same sign, add another layer of uniqueness.
It's like microscopic astrological variations adding up.
You got it. Even if the moon sign is the same, its exact degree and the aspects it makes will likely differ slightly. And for the super detailed view, you can look at lunar phases or even lunar mansions, which are finer divisions that can easily differ between twins.
This is fascinating. It shows how incredibly personalized astrology aims to be, way beyond the basics. And if you're finding this deep dive illuminating and want to explore your own chart's intricacies, this is a good moment to remind you to visit the links in the description below. We've put some useful resources there for you.
Yeah, definitely check those out. Now, just to show this isn't purely theoretical, let's look at some numbers from twin studies in astrology.
Ooh, data. Hit me.
Okay, one study looked at 100 sets of twins. If they were born more than 2 hours apart, 72% of them had completely different rising signs.
That's 72%. That's almost 3/4, just from a 2-hour difference.
Huge, right. But even for those born much closer, the differences stack up. In that same study pool, for twins born within just 10 minutes of each other, 64% had different house placements for at least 3 planets.
Within 10 minutes. So more often than not, even a quick birth interval means planets land in different life areas for each twin. Which planets were most likely to shift houses?
Mostly the faster-moving personal ones, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Their positions change more noticeably minute to minute compared to, say, Pluto.
Makes sense. So communication style, love style, energy style,
Yeah.
those are often placed differently.
Very often, yes. And another interesting bit. A study of 50 identical twin pairs found 82% had at least one planet within 3 degrees of a house cusp.
The border zone. So that planet could easily be felt or interpreted in the next house for one twin versus the other.
Exactly. It increases the odds of different effective house placements even more. And if we peek at Vedic astrology, their system uses lunar mansions or nakshatras. About 65% of twins born more than 20 minutes apart fall into different nakshatras, affecting emotional expression.
Different emotional flavors again.
Yep. And one last one. Traditional astrology uses planetary day rulers. If twins are born across midnight, about 78% end up with different day rulers, believed to influence their overall energy.
So crossing midnight is another astrological tripwire for twins. These stats really paint a picture. Let's talk more about those aspects, the angles. How do they play out dynamically?
Right, the aspects really show the interaction between planets. And because the moon moves so fast, if it changes sign between twin births, like going from 29 degrees Gemini to 0 degrees Cancer, it forms a completely new set of major aspects to all the other planets.
That's like rewriting the internal communication network.
Pretty much. The whole emotional dynamic shifts.
Yeah.
And while the big outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, will usually be in the same signs for twins because they move so slowly.
Right, they take years to change signs sometimes.
Exactly. But their house placement will likely differ due to the shifting ascendant and the aspects they make to the faster personal planets. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars will almost certainly have subtle or not so subtle differences in exactness and strength.
So the underlying themes from outer planets might be similar, but how they connect to the twins' core personality in daily life differs.
You've got it. These aspect differences really fine-tune the unique energy signature of each twin. Okay, so let's pivot a bit. How does understanding all this actually help in the real world?
Yeah, great question. Beyond just astrological curiosity, what's the practical application?
Well, for parents, it can be huge. Instead of expecting identical kids, understanding their potentially different charts, different rising signs, moon signs, house placements can help parents appreciate each twin's uniqueness from day one.
And tailor their parenting, maybe. Like, one needs more quiet time, the other needs more stimulation.
Exactly that. Recognizing different needs, different strengths based on those astrological potentials. Same goes for teachers in a classroom, realizing twins might have different learning styles or motivations, even if they look alike.
That could prevent a lot of frustration, trying to treat them exactly the same when their inner wiring might be different.
Definitely. And for the twins themselves, especially as teenagers trying to forge their own identities, astrology can offer a language, a framework to understand why they feel different from their sibling, even when everyone expects them to be the same.
I bet that's incredibly validating for them.
Adult twins often report exactly that when they finally look at their charts. It helps make sense of lifelong differences. And this ties into the bigger nature versus nurture debate, doesn't it? Astrology adds almost a third dimension.
Nature, genetics, nurture, environment, and naissance. Birth moment astrology.
I like that. But yes, it suggests predispositions tied to that specific birth moment. Of course, environment interacts with these. Two twins might have charts indicating artistic talent, but if one gets lessons and the other doesn't, the expression will differ.
And even factors like birth order, the first twin versus the second, even by minutes, can play a role psychologically.
Absolutely. Family dynamics, assigned roles, the studious one, the outgoing one, these can also shape how astrological energies manifest. Plus, different cultures view twins differently, which adds another layer.
So many interacting forces. What about the relationship between the twins astrologically? Is there a way to look at that?
Oh, definitely. That's called synastry, comparing two charts. With twins, it's fascinating. You look at the aspects between twin A's planets and twin B's planets. It shows where they connect easily, where they might clash, where they help each other grow.
So their charts talk to each other.
In a way, yes. Different rising or moon signs mean they genuinely experience things differently, which can be a source of complementarity or friction. You can also calculate a composite chart, which blends their two charts into one, symbolizing the relationship itself, its themes and purpose.
The astrological signature of their twinship.
Exactly. And some evolutionary astrology schools suggest twins might choose slightly different birth times, different charts, to explore different facets of a shared karmic lesson or theme. Their lunar nodes, indicating karmic paths, often differ in how they connect to each other's charts.
Wow, that's a deep perspective, like they're partners on a specific evolutionary mission.
Some see it that way. There's even the idea of twins being aspects of one soul exploring duality. And as they live their lives, their progressed charts, which evolve over time, diverge, showing their individual paths unfolding. Astrological timing techniques often show them hitting milestones at slightly different times too, linked back to that initial birth time difference.
It really emphasizes both their connection and their individuality. Okay, but what about those cases where twins are born really close together, like maybe less than a minute apart, and their charts look almost identical, but they're still different?
That's the big challenge, and where astrologers pull out more advanced techniques. Vedic astrology has divisional charts, or Vargas, which are like harmonic charts that zoom in on specific life areas, revealing differences not obvious in the main chart.
Like astrological microscopes.
Kind of. There's also rectification if a birth time is uncertain or the person doesn't seem to fit their chart. An astrologer might work backward from major life events to fine-tune the time, which could be relevant for twins. Then there's psychological astrology, emphasizing free will, same chart, different choices, different outcomes.
So consciousness plays a role in how the chart manifests.
Big time. And some modern astrologers even bring in ideas from chaos theory, tiny initial differences leading to vastly different paths over time. Plus, there are other systems, cosmobiology focusing on midpoints, Uranian astrology, asteroids, fixed stars, harmonics. Lots of ways to find finer distinctions.
So the astrological toolkit is pretty deep for exploring these nuances.
It really is.
Okay, but we have to address the other side. What does science say about twin differences? No spinning planets, just genes and environment.
Right. The scientific perspective relies heavily on twin studies too, but focuses purely on genetics and environment.
And the main finding there is,
Identical twins share virtually 100% of their segregating DNA, making them much more similar in personality on average than fraternal twins, who share about 50%, like regular siblings. Heritability for major personality traits is generally estimated to be around 40–60%.
so genes are a big chunk, but not the whole story?
Hmm.
Where do the differences come from scientifically?
Primarily the non-shared environment. That means the unique experiences each twin has: different friends, different teachers, different accidents or illnesses, different relationships, even slightly different parental interactions. Surprisingly, the shared environment, same house, same parents, seems to have less impact on differences, especially as they get older.
So it's those unique life paths diverging that really makes them different individuals, according to science.
That's the main factor identified. Plus, there's epigenetics, the idea that environmental factors can switch genes on or off without changing the DNA code itself. So identical twins could have the same genes, but different patterns of gene expression based on their life experiences.
Like life leaves little notes on the genetic blueprint.
A good way to put it. Now, it's crucial to state the scientific consensus. Astrology is considered a pseudoscience. Rigorous studies, like the well-known Carlson study, or meta-analyses by researchers like Dean and Kelly, have consistently failed to find empirical evidence supporting astrological claims about personality or life events.
So tests trying to match charts to personalities or predict outcomes based on astrology haven't held up scientifically.
Correct. Studies on time twins, unrelated people born around the same time and place, don't show the personality correlations astrology would predict. While belief in astrology is widespread, science doesn't find validation for its mechanisms or predictive power. From the scientific view, twin differences come down to that interplay of genes and unique environments.
Okay, so we have the intricate astrological map based on the birth moment and the scientific map based on DNA and life experience. Two different ways of explaining the same fascinating phenomenon.
Exactly. And both highlight how complex identity formation really is.
So wrapping this all up, what are the big takeaways?
Well, I think first, astrology offers a really complex, detailed explanation for twin differences that goes way, way beyond just the sun sign. It hinges on that precise birth time.
Right, the ascendant, houses, aspects, they create a unique fingerprint.
Then, science points firmly to genetics and, importantly, those non-shared unique life experiences as the drivers of difference. Both perspectives really challenge the idea that twins should be carbon copies.
Absolutely. The rapid movement of the ascendant and house cusps ensures that even twins born minutes apart get distinct astrological charts. It validates their individual experiences.
And ultimately, whether you lean towards astrological predispositions or genetic ones, it seems clear that our environment, our experiences, and our choices play a massive role in shaping who we actually become. It's an interplay.
So the twin paradox really just highlights how unique every single person's journey is, influenced by their start, but defined by their path.
Well said. It shows astrology's complexity is far beyond the pop culture version, focusing intensely on that unique cosmic snapshot at birth.
And maybe a final thought for everyone listening. How much of who you are is tied to your inherent blueprint, whether you see that as astrological, genetic, or something else, and how much is sculpted by the life you live and the choices you make along the way? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to think about.